Recording, and there we go. Hello, people, and thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting these kinds of podcasts. Today we have Officer Dan here with me.
Hello.
Indeed, and yeah, we're going to be talking about at least two topics that's been going on recently, and just starting the year with a bang. Let's talk about first and foremost the most recent one and shocking and really kind of misleading because a lot of people have been saying it's canceled, but it's basically it's rebooting. So, Dan-san, what do you actually think about this actual moment that Nintendo has been through this time?
This is a very uncharacteristic piece of news to come out of the world of gaming, for certain. For there to be such a pronounced announcement of a game that was supposed to be coming, it was slated for this year. It was certainly one of my big releases for this year. But again, back on track, it's such an unusual piece of news for there to be a video from the lead of development. What was his first name? Shinya. Yeah, Shinya Takahashi of Nintendo's development.
Yeah.
To come out and say that they were so unsatisfied with the development of Metroid Prime 4 that they've given up their current iteration of the game and saying, oh, it's still doing it, but we're starting from the beginning. What an unusual piece of news.
Yeah.
Games just usually get canceled, or maybe in some, the only similar interest, I don't know how to put it, like maybe a game company's like really close to finishing something and then they go out of business and like another license will take it over.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So unusual. And like I was saying, like, I'm a bit in the dark. I don't know if there's confirmed or not, but you know, for the people who love Metroid Prime, the first 3 games were developed by Retro Studios anyhow. So the news that we see out of it is like, oh, for sure Retro Studios is working on this one. So it's like, wait a second. You mean they weren't developing Metroid Prime 4 anyway? Were they really that busy porting Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze from Wii U to Switch and working on that instead of Metroid Prime? I mean, see, that's what I was telling you just before we started, Zyber. Mm-hmm. Like, Metroid Prime is theirs. It's what we've been asking for, was a Retro Studios Metroid Prime. So I was under the impression it was Retro working on this anyhow. And then they come out and say, oh, they're for sure working on it now. It's like, what? So it's, I guess this is for the betterment of it.
Yeah.
You much rather have time spent on making a game better than for it to come out bad.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what this announcement was all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this it's a little misleading because there's a lot of YouTubers saying that it's canceled and like, wait, what? And like people obviously click on the video, clickbait alert, but it states right here that it's restarting in development from the beginning, which means that, well, okay, this Metroid is not gonna work. The fans are not gonna like it. So let's just start from the beginning, from scratch, and let's do it all over again with a new plot, new characters.
How is it not salvageable at all? Like, you mean to tell me, like, you can't even use, like, any iteration of, like, Samus's model or animations? Like, how messed up was this? Are we talking, like, Federation Force again? And they're like, oh no?
My thought is, this is just me speculating, and we have seen it in previous companies that at some point you say, okay, fans are not gonna like this. This is more like a Square Enix type of thing. I mean, Square Enix is just pure mind blowing of delaying stuff.
Yes.
But let's just take for example, Kingdom Hearts. Like how many times like it was like, yeah, it's going to be released soon and soon and soon, and they just didn't want to admit that they have to like redo some stuff. Even if you see the first trailer from of the Kingdom Hearts, the graphics looks different.
I'd have to go back and see.
Right now I think they're using the current engine, or maybe an updated engine, and maybe this is almost what is happening right now with Metroid Prime. But we never saw a trailer. We never saw it. We just saw the title.
That's right. It was only an image.
And I'm like, so these people, like, there's another thing. Like, these people were working on something that they worked really hard, and now they just like, wow, all this work for nothing. Yeah, I think Nintendo's I think not losing a lot of money, but it's a pretty big loss, because I mean, all that hard work, these developers put on to the current canceled Metroid Prime 4. I mean, I think it's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I think it was either graphical engine, or different ideas colliding. Let's see other stuff that I can actually relate to other companies that have been through this. I mean, Square Enix as like Final Fantasy 15. We know the troubles that those people went through. Like,
yes.
First of all, it was going to be called Final Fantasy 13 Versus, and out of nowhere, we got the Lightning series, and then this part, the Final Fantasy 15 came out like 2016. Like we've been waiting for the Versus, kind of like that kind of Final Fantasy back in the day, and we got totally different plot, totally different characters. Yeah. So yeah, for me it's concerning, but at the same time, when I see restarting development from the beginning, I'm a little bit more relieved, because it's not a full cancellation of a game. This is totally different.
It's not work in progress. Like they said, we're unsatisfied, so we're taking the unfinished, broken pieces and pushing it on Retro Studios. No, this is instead Retro Studios from the ground up. So if it wasn't them, and then say, no, let's redo it with Retro, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Nintendo isn't shy about delaying stuff to make it better.
I mean, Xbox and Microsoft and Sony have been doing it through all these years. So I mean, Nintendo doing it, for the second, third time, it just doesn't really matter, as long as the game comes really good in the end.
Yeah.
Then it will be it'll pay off. I mean, I give Nintendo the credit to just say this kind of stuff the beginning of the year, with no trailer, with no something. At least they didn't promise like a release date like Square Enix did once, twice, or three times, or they just like announced the Metroid or CGI trailer. None of that. At least they didn't like put us into an expectation that this game looks good, or this game is going to be the game of the year. None of that. At least they didn't give us those type of troubles right now, because if we would have a Metroid Prime trailer in the last Nintendo Direct, people be like, oh man, it's coming out soon. But then we see this kind of news today, we will be even more disappointed. So at least I give Nintendo props for just like, don't show anything, because we are not sure that this is going to be well. So I'm really glad. I'm glad that that happened, and a lot of companies should be looking up to Nintendo right now. I mean, not showing their game very early, even though you want to hype your console or your game, or, you know, 3 years in advance. I mean, that's not Nintendo, but there's other companies that do that a lot. But yeah, I think this is more clear than just, clear than crystal. And I really feel happy that Nintendo is restarting things from the start and making a better Metroid. So what do you think of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot more peaceful knowing that it's Retro Studios, the guys who started it to begin with, to be able to continue with it. But boy, that means we're waiting a really long time.
Yes.
How long ago was it even announced? It's probably like 2 years or something. They said in the video, but I can't remember.
2017. It was first announced 2017. Yeah.
We've got an image for 2017. Just a placeholder image. That means they were even far behind even then.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be waiting a stupid long time for Metroid, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's gonna be like a long wait. But at least I give them at least 3 years. At least by the end of this year, they should have something. By the end of this year, they should have something. Because if they put effort on the last Metroid that was actually canceled, then they still have the creativity to make a Metroid Prime within 3 years, at least. They should have some Metroid things this year, or maybe starting of next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to keep the fans, hype up for that kind of, franchise, because there's a lot of people who like Metroid still. I mean, it's not just a rare game. Metroid is not, it's very popular. So yeah, they must have to think that, yeah. So, in other news, oh boy, I thought EA was gonna be over. The topic about EA again. You and me, that we have EA burned in hell.
They need to have the Star Wars license taken away from them so badly.
Now, we talked about this like a long time ago. I think you stated that Star Wars should be removed from EA and be with another developer, just like Uncharted or something like that. You said, is that correct?
Yeah, anybody else really, but I think, I actually said Naughty Dog, probably.
Yeah. So, what happens is that EA once again can't. Now, this is an official cancellation.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, we don't like this game. It's a single player game. It doesn't have microtransactions enough. Let's cancel it.
This was poised to be the best Star Wars game yet.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. I was very passionate about this. So it was the lead writer of Uncharted. I don't know what all the games that she did, but her name was Amy Hennig.
She made the trilogy, the first trilogy.
That's right. One of these Uncharted games I got, they came with behind the scenes videos. Something that doesn't happen in games a whole lot anymore. Yeah. And I watched all of those. And so she made appearances in some of them. And as a writer myself, I found that particular part interesting because I think there's a writing aspect about it. Because writing for video games, it can be really hit or miss. And after seeing the process for Uncharted, I realized is probably the best method for writing in video games
Mm-hmm.
you could think of.
Yeah.
Um, how it worked and what it boiled down to was the developers, Naughty Dog, would come up with a new piece of graphical technology,
Right.
something impressive. So, for example, in one of the games, there's a boat that's like slowly capsizing and flooding, like all the way through. And as the level progresses, like the water levels rising and stuff like that. A very unique, it's a setup in technology to make something very unique that hasn't really been seen much.
Mm-hmm.
At least with the level of technology that they did it with. Right.
Right.
I'm not saying there aren't levels that have boats sinking
Right.
as you go through it. In fact, there's a Super Nintendo game that does that. um, I'm blanking on what that was called. But anyhow, you catch my drift. It's new graphics technology that makes this work. So they invested resources to do this, and then what Amy did was she wrote around that. So you got to be put into like a little bit of a box there, writing wise, coming up with something like that. But the point is you're able to do your best within your limits of what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's creativity in that.
Right.
There's writing prompts, where you restrain yourself. You have to write, and it has to involve this, this, and this. It allows you to explore and do your best and be really creative within that space. And so that's what they did with all those Uncharted games. And you see how the writing turns out.
Mm-hmm.
It people love it.
Yes.
It's like better than Hollywood, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
For the cinematic quality of it. So the fact of the matter is well, not really a fact because I don't know for a fact, but that same person with that same technique, since she was lead writer, I assume they were going to use that technique for this Star Wars game, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because that's what she was used to. That's probably why she got hired on, is because they saw that method works.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, that's why I think that was going to be poised to be the best Star Wars game in some time. Subject matter aside, which is like, what was it? You're going to be like a bounty hunter or a mercenary, and you're just going through dark, gritty slum areas. Just a bit of the darker side of Star Wars a bit.
Yes.
And be able to explore that some more. I believe, unless I'm confusing that with the even further back canceled 1313, because I think that was like a similar plot point there.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyhow, all I remember is it was going to be a unique look at an aspect of the universe, and then you were paired up with some of the best writing in the business. Probably one of the best techniques for creating games with a focus on story, in my opinion.
Correct.
That have been seen and laid out.
Yeah.
And then you kill that.
Yes.
I'm going to take a moment to breathe to let you talk, but I could talk a bit more.
Sure. Yes. Wow. Everything that you said, totally agree. And my thoughts on this is just like, what a waste of an opportunity. What a waste of time. What a waste of
time, exactly.
And what a waste of a masterpiece of a developer. It's something that she created. Like, it's like talking trash about a trilogy that's been so successful on the PlayStation, the director, which was her, and out of nowhere, like, they're just not grateful. And it's just, oh my god, for me it's just so, these people are just full with greed, and all they want is just multiplayer and microtransactions. And man, I have never been so pissed off at a freaking company like EA. Like, man, it's just like, I really do feel sorry for for all those people who actually made something, and then the EA like, oh no, we don't like it, man. You better change this, and that. Probably they didn't like it either.
Yeah, I
Eh,
mean, it's scary to think, but just easy to assume that it was probably too hard for you to monetize.
yes.
So we quit.
Exactly. It's just at the same time, we can look at this and say that, okay, these developers made something that is very unique and it's different, and we can make money out of a single player game. But that is not EA's vision. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it frustrates me so much because this been going on and on and on and on. Even I heard on Review Tech USA reading a Twitter about the Rogue One director, about Star Wars Rogue One director. He was actually talking really bad about EA too.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Jesus Christ! Even a film director talking trash about a company, a gaming company.
Yeah.
That is destroying the freaking Star Wars franchise. Oh God, it's just if it gets to that level, EA has to wake up and do something because it's not cool. It's very toxic at so many levels. I'm really getting tired of just repeating myself every single year. Like, we've been talking about this since ever since the first Battlefront came out from EA.
If you heard some clacking on the keyboard, it's because I was actually looking for the particular image that fired me up the most over this. I mean, all that ranting aside, now it's important. That's probably about half of it. Let me tell you the other half. I saw this on the internet at some point. In a period of 6 years, with EA having the Star Wars license, they probably released 1 or 2 mobile games that nobody really cares about. But in that 6 years, they have released Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2. And we both know what kind of rise both of those games got, especially the second game.
Yes.
Enough for you to apologize in front of everybody at EA. This is what really gets me. So, 6 years is just those 2 games. That whole time. From the years 2013 to 2019. Up to present day.
Mm-hmm.
In the years of 2002 and 2008, these are all the games that LucasArts put out. Look at this. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer Revenge. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Star Wars Clone Wars. Star Wars Galaxies. The first Lego Star Wars. The second Lego Star Wars. Star Wars Jedi Starcraft. Star Wars Empire at War. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
Keep on going.
Republic Commando.
I remember that.
The first Star Wars Battlefront. The second Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. My beloved Star Wars Jedi Academy and Star Wars Jedi Outcast. And then Force Unleashed 1 and 2.
Jesus Christ.
I quit counting. All of those games were in a 6-year period. And what does EA do? 2 games.
2 games.
2 games. That people all over the entire planet haven't had very good things to say about. You can say what you want about some of the other games that I just listed that LucasArts put out, but for the 1 or 2 games you have problems with, there's another 10. You know?
Yeah.
That are incredible. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most beloved games ever made.
Yes.
People might have their ifs about the second one, but the first one is one of the most beloved games ever made. And then Star Wars, Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy, to me, are a very special point to me in a world of gaming. Because that's the first online community I really got into in the world of gaming, and it introduced me to the world of modding and interested me in my modding and machinima making career, which helped shape me to what I am today. Thanks to those games.
Wow. Just see all that. Just hearing all that and all those freaking games, like, wow, it's just it tells a lot. It tells a lot of how, how much EA cares about that franchise. I mean,
I played every single one of these games, except for Racer Revenge and Jedi Starcrafter, and I own half of them. The last two Star Wars Battlefront games, I can't even give a care about.
me neither.
Like,
As in fact, I can play Force Unleashed 1 and 2 all the time, and I can ignore the last two Star Wars game from EA.
Isn't that unbelievable, the stark difference in releases?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Force Unleashed was a single player. You were this half Jedi, half whatever you wanted to be at the end. Wow, look at this.
I sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it right now like, oh my god. Yep. This is what it actually looks like.
Absolutely have to take this Star Wars license away from EA, please. This is already a rough time for Star Wars. The movies are starting to get
yeah, the movies
really critical response.
Yeah.
Already, and then you have to do this to the world of gaming.
They're on both classes, as even the films, especially the freaking games, which the people are just like, can someone please say Star Wars?
Dude, Zyber, Knights of the Old Republic, I played that game all the way through from start to finish at least 5 times.
Wow.
I spent countless hours in Academy. Republic Commando might not have aged well. It's been a while since I've done it, so I can't be that critical, but still, from my memory of it, it's still probably the best FPS single-player campaign I've ever played.
Wow.
Was that game.
Wow. Just incredible. And it's just like, you see back in the days, like, those games lasted at least above 4 hours of gameplay.
Oh, yeah. The short ones
Easy.
were probably... The shortest ones in here were probably, honestly, the Force Unleashed games.
Force, exactly, those ones. But the rest is just like, we got RPGs, we got first-person shooters, we got, obviously, movie license games, we got racing, we got Lego, we had so many varieties back in the day, and right now we just only got like a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it even goes into, you said RPGs, but that MMO, there's people still playing that.
Playing it, yeah, exactly the freaking point.
In fact, so much so that like I even rescued a copy of it, just so I could eventually check out the fan servers, because there's still fans playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
I found the website. There's still people, like, there's a community there.
Yes.
Still playing that game.
Wow.
And even at this point, I imagine EA's Battlefront is probably a shell of what it was comparatively to 2.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. You can't even... I'm not even sure if there's a real reason to go back to the first one.
Nah. I mean, even the PSP versions were better.
Yeah.
Like, I used to freaking use the PSP. Like, I was really like... Even the PSP at first had the space battle. and EA freaking shitted up on the first Battlefront 2 EA. Battlefront EA, the first one that came out. Like no space battles. Like, man, you guys have the technology to do so, and you just like scratch that out. That was the first concern of everybody. What? No space battle? But I used to like play the space battle on the PSP.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish I could have played that PSP version too.
Uh,
I never owned one.
oh yeah, dude, it was freaking. All those games up there, extremely nostalgic.
Yeah, it's not even counting some of the stuff that came on handheld that Ninja showed you. Because I played that Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the movie tie-in game. That was on Xbox and PlayStation, and I didn't have those growing up.
I remember that. I used to play the versus type of like lightsaber parts.
Yeah, I did get to play it at a friend's house. I'm like, this is awesome.
This is awesome. Exactly the point.
So, yeah, it was awesome. But I'll tell you, like, I played a ton of the DS version of the game that came out, so that doesn't even include that in there.
Wow.
And guess what? Even the DS version, it had multiplayer space battles for you to play space battles wirelessly.
Wirelessly? Oh
yeah,
my god.
Through the wireless and stuff. I can't remember if it had Wi-Fi on it. I doubt it, but I still played the space battles wirelessly with friends who also had it on the DS.
Man, I just wish we just go back to the old days and forget about online, forget about microtransactions, forget about DLCs for a moment, and look at all those franchises of their EA. Look at that. Look at what you have not done.
Look at what you've not done.
Like, literally, like, compared to those two trash games that you've made, only one up there stumps both of them. Only one. And that's just facts. That is no opinion.
Yeah.
So, someone else needs to take the Star Wars franchise as the gaming somewhere else. Just like we spoke about this, and I'm going to like repeat it once again. Either Square Enix or Naughty Dog, some really good developers that have story-driven stories and have the creativity to care about this kind of franchise like Star Wars.
Yeah. I would say Retro Studios, but now they're busy, right?
Yeah, they are.
Now we know they're busy.
Yep.
That was just kind of a joke.
So any last thoughts about this, because I'm really getting freaking tired of it.
My gosh, I'm ready to play Knights of the Old Republic again.
You know what? Is it on Steam?
It is on Steam. And you know something else I haven't done is I've never done this because I've only played through the second game once, and I did a disservice by only playing through it once. But there's a modification for the second game that restores cut content from the game because there's like on the disc stuff that they didn't put in. So there's a fan mod that completes stuff that was kind of broken and restores that stuff that's not there.
Oh.
Because yeah. So I suppose I could do that too, but no, yeah, they're both on Steam.
Nice. Okay, then I think I just made a choice. I really being truly honest, and you know me, and I like retro games. I like old games. I mean, I give them more appreciation more than. I mean, today's game I really do. I really like a lot of new games, but the old games just give me those type of feelings and nostalgia.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's old games. Then that particular generation, the 6th generation, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, Dreamcast, and the GameCube. That's my favorite. And that's where all those games were like actually the good games with starting to like giving a damn about graphics. Some of them don't, but at least they made good effort on making good storytelling, good gameplay, unlike what we have today. So those are my thoughts, people. Anything else you want to say, Dan, before we close this podcast?
Yeah, give the license to somebody else, please.
Yeah, please.
For the love of everything. With so many people complaining, I would hope the mouse's big giant ears would pick that up.
So, okay, can you do the impression of Mickey of this kind of topic? So, Mickey, so what do you think about EA and all that? Did you want them to still be with Star Wars, or you want them to be with another developer? Please tell me, Mickey.
Well, Zyber, you can't sully the. Nobody drags the mouse through the mud without paying up.
Well, Mickey, not everything is money. Please, come on, do something.
No, that's where you're wrong, my friend.
Well, Mickey, do you have any other other developers that you've been thinking to, put the money on those developers to make a better Star Wars game?
Well, gosh, Cyber, they're already doing weird stuff I don't understand with the Kingdom Hearts over there. And let me tell you, when they have me on that Kingdom Hearts set, they have a good craft table, so I guess I'll go with them.
All right, Mickey. I think they pay you the big bucks, right?
They better.
All right.
I pay them to pay me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, people. That was a nice laugh. Thank you, Mickey, for being with us. All right, people. Please don't. I can't stop laughing. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. This has been Zyberpunky.
Yeah, I love how much you love that, Zyber. And this has been Officer Dan. I do a lot of stuff on the internet. It takes me a while to say it all. But here in a little while, Karibukai Play will be going live with our all-night stream, youtube.com/Karibukai Play.
All right. This has been Zyberpunky, and I'll see you guys later.